And welcome to a happy Sunday morning here on Forever United TV. Yes, we are still living off that fantastic performance yesterday, but more importantly, the aftermath and what was said in particular by key players on Manchester United's side about Michael Carrick. I was going to say Ruben Amorim then, but yeah, the difference in what these players are saying isn't much in terms of what the manager's message is, but you definitely have to ask the question, why is it so different in how that message has come across? Because it has to be because of the way that Man United played. When I get into what Licha Martinez has said about Michael Carrick and his coaching staff and everything that's affected them this week and how they have taken to Michael Carrick, really important that obviously we know how these players are. Like Carrick said yesterday about the players and what they wanted to do, but how are the players feeling about Michael Carrick and what has changed there? Also, the transfer updates, in particular, some players that could potentially be leaving Manchester United and the incoming side of things as well. And all of your thoughts again as we move forward now and look ahead to what is coming this week, because it is a real opportunity for Manchester United. It's big. Could we live off this moment and use it to springboard forward? Now that we've settled, now that we've slept on the performance from yesterday, what are your thoughts? Get into the live comment section and let's get into this morning, because it's been a long time since I've sat here in front of you the day after a game and actually not had anything else to pick out. So we would normally have our instant reaction. We would go through all of the positives, the negatives of the game, our reaction on the players and things like that. But then the next day you watch it back, you watch the highlights, you may watch big pieces of the game again. And honestly, all I've got from it was more and more positives. I know it's one game, but it was Manchester City. And we got a clean sheet yesterday as well. And the way that Manchester United moved the ball, it was great because I watched the feedback from Roy Keane and Micah Richards and Daniel Sturridge in the studio from Sky. I thought that was key yesterday, where Roy Keane is playing it down and saying it's just a game, it's a derby. Well, you know Roy Keane's famous line, innit? It's a derby. Go and do your job. Do you know what I mean? That there, I think, is key. And I think you do need to remember that everyone can get up for a big game. It's now what happens after that. But in what Micah Richards said, and I don't rate Micah Richards, I'm going to be honest, it was the way that Michael Richards was describing how Manchester United played, which I got to more. And the players, their reaction and the clean sheet, the organisation. Like Roy Keane, yes, I understand what he's saying, and we have all got that inside us, and we all have that there. And we're thinking, and we're already worrying that it might be a flash in the pan, and it is another false dawn for United. But the way that United played, and some of the passing movements and triangles, it was like playing a rondo in front of Pep Guardiola, Kaz said to me this morning in a piece that's on social media right now. There's a video there of the way that Manchester United are just working the ball. In fact, it brought the line that I said yesterday in my Adam FC video when Kobbie Mainoo sends Semenyo for an ice cream with extra toppings. It was that passing move where Kobbie sprung out from the back by feinting on Semenyo after the most consistent set of triangle football I've ever seen in my life for Manchester United. Last time I seen that was Fergie days. But the interchange between Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, I think Dalot was on that side as well, believe it or not. Yeah, Dalot was involved in this. Harry Maguire. I can't remember, there was another player. It might have been Ahmad actually as well who was involved. But the pass and move from that was absolutely brilliant. And that was the difference yesterday. And then you hear what Lisandro Martinez says. And this is where it all starts to knit together. This is where you start to think, all right, yeah, maybe this is the moment. And I'm saying all of this now, still remembering that it's the one game. But if they can play like this constantly and go in with that same mentality, then there is a big chance that United are in Champions League football next season. Now, obviously, whisper it and say it quietly, but it does look like it's on. With the way that Chelsea are playing, lucky, very, very lucky yesterday. Liverpool, like we said, they're dropping points to everybody. They're just not going to get it right until they change a manager. No one's really coming up behind us and threatening us. We should be looking at the Liverpool, Aston Villa types of targets. If we keep ourselves fixed on that, then Manchester United can move forward. Licha Martinez yesterday, in what he said, I think is massive in the impact that Michael Carrick has had. And his first 3 words that came out of Licha's mouth in an interview yesterday about Michael Carrick and his team was 3 days incredible. those three lines, sorry, those three words there, incredible. Why? Why is it incredible? Why is it incredible for a coach to come in and get a tune out of full-on professional players? It should be the norm. It should be the norm. So why has Leacher come in and said this? He also goes on to say, he told us not to be afraid on the ball, to stay calm, play with confidence and defend for our lives. What Carrick and his staff have done is unbelievable. I'm impressed. Okay, so breaking it all down there, play with calm, play with confidence, stay calm, defend for our lives. If you're playing in the Premier League and you're coming up against the best of the best, defending for your lives is a staple. It should always be the go-to. There is nothing that you can say to any Premier League defence other than you're going to have to be awesome. You've got the best attackers in the world. We came up against the best striker on the planet yesterday, and he got subbed off after 70 minutes. Didn't get a sniff. Cannot even think of a moment where Haaland broke through or caused us any problems. Harry Maguire and Leacher yesterday were exemplary in defending. Centre-back masterclass is what that was. And anything that came forward from the midfield into that front line was just snuffed out. So, I mean, where was Doku? Where was Semenyo? Where was Shirky when he came on? Where was Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva yesterday? They hardly got a mention because they were played off the park. How does this Manchester United side go from Ruben coaching to Carrick coaching and we get that on the pitch? It clearly shows that there was some issue in the coaching setup and communication side of things. Look, there is fantastic coaches out there, and we say this all of the time. They know everything, but it's the communication side of things. You need a team. If a manager is going to come in and try and be a manager when he's not a manager and he's a coach, like Ruben Amorim did, I'm not having a go at Ruben here at all in this, but I'm just saying maybe this is where it went wrong for him. He wanted everything his way, and he wasn't willing to adapt to the situation. You have to be able to come out of your comfort zone to make a situation better within your squad and within your team. And I think Manchester United have latched on to what Michael Carrick and his team have done. And I think that they've taken that straight to the pitch against Manchester City. And it was clear. You could see every single player on the ball. Patrick Dorgu, for instance, on the ball. Let's not forget, the lad's 21. People forget that Patrick Dorgu is 21. We paid 25 million quid for him. And he's now banging in goals and getting assists as a winger. As an actual winger in a forward, in a 4-2-3-1 formation. But when we're looking now for another attacking wide player, maybe we should be looking for a fullback instead, because Dorgu is actually really effective further up the pitch. So maybe we look towards that. Maybe that left-hand side could be Patrick Dorgu, the right-hand side, Ahmad. Look, there are so many options there. Michael Carrick has definitely... look, don't get me wrong, like Ruben Amorim got Dorgu in there first and tried him further up, and we got some results there. So I'm not saying this is all on Michael Carrick, far from it. But the confidence in Patrick Dorgu's game compared to what I've seen before was night and day, and the same with every single player on the pitch. And I think we have to remember this as well, is that they're the leading goal scorers in the league off the back of 12 goals scored and 2 wins in the last 2 games. And they came to Manchester United and had 1 shot on target, and that was a header from a corner. They created nothing in open play. That's the difference. That's where Micah Richards is right and Roy Keane is wrong, in a way. And I never thought I would say that. But I do get that it's one game, and it is obviously going to be proved if Manchester United can continue this and be consistent with it. That is still there. Like Alan Shearer said last night on Match of the Day, this has to be every single game. You've got 16 games left. You've got plenty of time to prepare, recover and rest and get ready for each game now. There is no excuse. They have to do this game in, game out, and they'll make Champions League football. Wayne Rooney sat next to Alan Shearer was pretty much reiterating what he said there. That's the Manchester United. That's the best I've seen Manchester United play in years. It was a complete performance from United. And where you would say against Newcastle, we did good. We got the win. We got a clean sheet against a good side at Old Trafford. With a weakened side, you're always clinging on and you're always questioning things. I came out of that game with more questions than I did answers and we got the win with a clean sheet. I should have been buzzing, but I wasn't. I was always concerned. The difference from that to yesterday, after watching it all back and trying to find faults in anything, there was no faults, and that's the difference. It was a complete performance. Now that, if that does not springboard this team, then I don't know what will. Obviously, it's such a shame that we have got to play Arsenal next, away from home, who are unbeaten, obviously, at the Emirates this season and have taken everybody down. It is a tough, tough ask, but Man United have got a full squad. Man United have got full 7 days rest, 8 days rest now to that game. There is no excuse not to go in and play exactly the same way on the front foot. You've won there before, you won there last season. And that was one of Arsenal's more attacking sides as well. So if you can do it the previous season, you can do it this season as well. And I think Manchester United, if we have that structure and we have that defensive stability and that organisation going into the Arsenal game, we are really going to frustrate them on Sunday. And I think United can run them close. I actually think United could get a draw out of Arsenal. And if we do get a draw, obviously looking at it on the league table side of things, it may drop us out of that Champions League place. But 4 points to Manchester City and Arsenal, the top two, would be amazing. If we won at the Emirates, and I know that's a big, big, big if, but if we did, like I said before, after that Brighton game last week, if you beat Manchester City and you beat Arsenal, then my head has turned and I'll sit up and I'll take notice. I didn't expect that yesterday, is what I'm saying here. And I was shocked, absolutely shocked like everybody else. We've known that this team can put in a performance, but to dominate Manchester City, I think that definitely sent a message to what was there before, personally for me. And Leacher there summed it up perfectly in that it was unbelievable. Why? But it should be the same for every coach coming in, shouldn't it? You're professional footballers. So what has been going on? What has been going on at Manchester United? What's been going on that training ground? Because clearly something has changed. And don't take away the effect of Steve Holland from yesterday as well. The communications that we spoke about last night, from the stands down to the dugout, the organisation from top to bottom that Carrick has put in there, going that extra yard. Like we've said before, Carrick's in an audition phase right now. So he is basically, he is putting himself on the market here for his next job. And he's going to do everything in his power to make sure he covers every angle and get the best out of this Man United side. Because if he gets the best out of this Manchester United side now, gets us into the Champions League, then looking at that, and then anybody else looking in on Carrick at the end of the season, he's going into a Premier League or a top job. Because he's the one that managed to get a tune out of this failing Manchester United team under this structure. So nothing to lose. He's going to give it everything. And think about this. All of them people, like Travis Binion, like Johnny Evans, Michael Carrick himself, that were out of work, not doing anything, now everyone's watching them. Everyone's looking for what happens next. And I'll tell you what, there'll be a clamour. If we get Champions League football, we wait for the offers flying in and flooding in to Michael Carrick. I'm not even going to go near the obvious, which is maybe where them offers might come from Manchester United. But that question, that will come as we get into the Champions League, if we do make it by the end of the season. One game does not cover a full half of the season, what we've got left. And let's see what happens now. But no excuses, like Shearer said. The games and the preparation time and rest that United have got, we was fully ready for that game. And that took 3 days for Carrick to get in place. Now he's got 8 days to prepare for the best team in England at the moment, in Arsenal. So let's see what happens there. But yeah, honestly, still not finding any negatives at all. I mean, I've refrained from actually going in on Dalot after that poor first half performance. He was better in the second half. I don't want to bring up a negative when there's so many positives. I actually thought Dalot was decent in the second half, better than what he was in the first anyway. And that needed to happen, because I was saying get him off. I was thinking putting Dorgu at right back and bringing Cunha on in Dorgu's position. That was my idea at half time, but Carrick stuck and went with it. Interesting one as well on Benjamin Sesko. Lots of people talking about that situation, and Carrick went on the pitch, and everybody's seen that moment where he went and grabbed Benjamin Sesko yesterday. Didn't get on the pitch, which was really surprising. After his recent form, Carrick made a decision there. And what that also goes to show is, it's like, right, boys, it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you've done or what you've been doing before for Manchester United, how good you are. or anything like that. Carrick's just ripped that up and just said, this is how we're going to do it. Get in line or you're done. And I think the way that Sesko reacted to him was visibly clear that he understood and what was going on. And you've just got to look at it. I mean, there was a sort of stomach issue apparently, and what was said about Benjamin Sesko was wasn't feeling well yesterday, so he didn't risk him. He had a stomach upset, which is why Carrick didn't bring him on. Sesko has suffered food poisoning for the second time this season. Manchester United are planning to back Carrick with a new midfielder soon. Also, that news coming out again, like the mystery midfielder. So no issue with Sesko. Obviously, he was there if needed yesterday, which is good. And now we're looking at Benjamin Sesko being available for the Arsenal game. I would love it if Benjamin Sesko scored against Arsenal in front of Victor Gyökeres. And it does clearly show you there that there was an illness. He didn't want to risk him. He was there if necessary. But United didn't need their number one striker. That told us everything. We had 3 goals disallowed yesterday. We had 2 off the woodwork, which we should have scored as well. Donnarumma pulling off worldie after worldie after worldie. A complete dominant performance without our £60 million striker who has been 3-2 in the last 2 games. Positive, positive, positive. Again, I'm still struggling to find a negative out of that performance yesterday. I'm sure the chat will find something, and I'm going to come in there now and see what you're all thinking, and then we'll move on to the other news as well. We're going to do a quick show this morning, so I want to get through as much as I possibly can. As you can see, I'm already kitted out. I'm at Avro's today. So yeah, Winton Wanderers ladies, my team is in Challenge Cup action in Oldham. So anyone in the Oldham area wants to come along to Avro FC, we kick off at 12:15 today. So yeah, come on, cheer the girls on, please, everybody. Round 1 of the Challenge Cup today. So get across there and show your support. I'm ready to go, and we are moving things very, very quickly this morning because it's an early kickoff for us today. So yeah, that's why we're doing the show a little bit shorter this morning. So let's get some comments in and let's get in with your thoughts. Has anyone found a negative yet? I've not seen one person so far, apart from just keeping calm and saying, let's see if we can continue this. I think that's the message really, isn't it now? Ant with a super chat says, it works. It was work that did it, Adam. 100% all in. And again, and with the recovery, with the time and the preparation in between games now, again, we said this before and we couldn't figure out why it wasn't working, but put the message and the understanding that Carrick and his team has got across to these players in with that recovery time and preparation time, and United should be going places. That is it. Adam, you need to come to the Arsenal with me after that performance yesterday. No, I was thinking about that before. Do you know what? I'm actually really, really busy this week. I'm in London twice this week already. 2 different recording, right word, episodes or jobs or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I've got 2 other pieces of the work that I'm doing this week in London. So I'm really, really busy this week. So, but I'll message you back, mate, on socials as well on that one, buddy. But I do appreciate that. I'm loving the vibe at the moment. I can see everyone is upbeat. We'd love the club to go and get Baleba or Anderson this month to play alongside Kobbie Mainoo. Mainoo was good yesterday, wasn't he? I'm not the only one thinking that. Like, obviously, I've got my issues with Kobbie, as everyone knows. But I'm not the only one who's thinking Kobbie was decent yesterday, was I? I thought he was really good. Thought press resistance in him, that gave us that out. It gave us that out, and that's what Kobbie can do that Manuel Ugarte cannot do. That shimmy, that brought me on to say, obviously, Kobbie sent Semenyo for an ice cream there after that triangle piece of play down our right-hand side in the first half. That there, you're never going to get from a Manuel Ugarte or a Casemiro. Gone, Semenyo, honestly, nowhere near, and Kobbie's up the pitch. Semenyo's treading treacle, trying to catch up. That was where has that been in this team? That confidence. How has Ruben not managed to get that type of performance out of the same players? And then you've got to question what was going on before. Has Carrick come in and just simplified everything? There you go. That is it. I like how this chat is finally talking sense. You all were off one past weeks No, we got knocked out of the FA Cup and we didn't win a game in 5, mate. So give people a chance to vent their frustrations. One game, like we said, does not make up for all of that mess. If you beat Arsenal at weekend, you have gone a long way into covering over everything that was bad before, and we can start to feel a lot more positive. But please don't have a go at people for being negative or upset with Manchester United going out the FA Cup and not being able to beat Wolves, Leeds and Burnley. That isn't good enough. That was then. Moving on now, let's hope that we can stick to this. And again, we keep on saying the same thing, don't we? They have to be able, they need to feel like they can keep on doing this. And I feel like the simple message from Carrick has got through to these players. Tim says, watched Anderson against Arsenal. He'd be perfect for us, a proper ball winner. Well, if we get Champions League football, which is why this is important now, then he is a realistic target for Manchester United. It's about Champions League. Adam Wharton right now, the Crystal Palace situation, I'd be going knocking on the door there. Glasner's going to be kicked out. I'm going to be doing Adam FC as well this morning on the paper round. There's lots of talk on manager situations. I'll save all of that for that and what's happening there. But wow, Crystal Palace are all over the place at the moment. So the options that United will have, honestly, the Champions League opens up the transfer golden gates for United. The money involved, United then, with this structure, this team, and getting the right man in charge, keeps us in the top 4. That's the next step. Then you build. We are about to, if we continue playing like that, fast forward 2 years, I think, because the plan was to be in the Europa League, top 6. We've got to go. We've got to go for the Champions League. That says, Adam, can you explain the Mount goal offside for me? Again, VAR, referees. Sully made a great comment yesterday. Even though we have won and it can't be forgotten, Anthony Taylor was a disgrace yesterday. Those were Sully's words, and I agree with him completely. Anthony Taylor yesterday, oh my day. The only thing he got right was probably Dalot with the flick of the boot when people were trying to say that that was malicious and intentional. It wasn't. It was a flick of the boot up, and I think yellow card was right. And everyone's trying to make a meal out of that. But that's the only thing he got right. And where was that Florian Wirtz 5-second thing? 5 centimetre. With the offsides. Look, Liverpool's was clearly offside. Manchester United had 2 goals there where you're talking literally 5 centimetres of a toe. That's a big toe. at that length anyway. 5 centimetres there. Where is that? Why is that not coming in? Like, why are you being so... Honestly, with VAR, I've given up. I have given up with it, honestly. There was so many goals yesterday. I celebrated 3 goals, lost my voice yesterday, and didn't get anything for it. It is destroying it. And the linesman, put your flag up earlier. Why they allow Bruno Fernandes to run off into the corner, knee slide into the corner? I mean, if you're looking at Bruno and he's looking at his steps, I reckon Bruno Fernandes has taken from where the offside should have been given if he was clear and he was definitely confident that it was offside, he's probably done another 500 steps, Bruno Fernandes, before the flag goes up. And that includes the celebration. It's all about them. The Old Trafford's up in air. Everyone's celebrating. Bruno has give it the old ears and give it the old celebration into the corner, knee slide. Nah, this is my moment. Whoop, up goes the flag. Joke. Absolute joke. No linesman did what that linesman did yesterday. No one has done that before. No one's allowed the player to run off to the corner flag before he puts his flag up. Like, there is giving yourself a moment, but if you know, and how long did it take from Bruno breaking through that line from that pass to score that goal? He still had any opportunity when Bruno was through there, went around the keeper, went around the defender, and then just held it up, then played it in, then he runs off into the corner. If you count the seconds in which that linesman delayed that decision, absolute jokers, honestly. All about them, all about the officials. That's all it is. The power that these guys are getting right now and the arrogance of them as well. Absolute joke, honestly. I still, like, if the flag goes up, it goes up. And then if you've got it wrong, VAR will cut it off. But at least Bruno's not run another 200 yards in trying to score a goal, in which he probably could have had a tackle come in out of desperation from a City player that does his ankle and puts him out for the rest of the season. You know what I mean? It's an absolute joke. It's all about them, and it always will be. And again, while it's all about opinions, VAR is worthless. It's someone's view on an incident, and it's their opinion of that and what they think. And that's it. As long as that's there, then this is always going to be there, and there's always going to be problems at every single club in the Premier League. That infuriated me yesterday. It destroyed a brilliant Manchester derby yesterday. It absolutely destroyed it. Those fast breakaways with 3 and 4 players could have been anyone from the past. Best Lord Charlton couple, Giggs, Beckham, Kanchelskis, Rooney. Went through a whole repertoire there, mate. Yes. It was like going back to the old days. It was. Round and round the doom cycle. We've been here before. Oli, Ten Hag, Amorim, Rude, now Carrick, who's still here, the Glazers, Ineos, and the players. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Now we're going to see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. If United do beat Arsenal, what's going to happen with the protest? Manchester United would comfortably be in the Champions League places if we beat Arsenal. They're looking at 15 games to go, in which United could really cement their place in the top 4. And if United go out and get a midfielder in, which is being rumoured for Michael Carrick, then maybe, looking at that, we are going to see change at Manchester United. But if we get Champions League football, this is what we need to remember, guys. If Champions League football comes into Manchester United, there is zero excuse for this ownership not to go out and spend £300 million this summer and get Manchester United the players we need to challenge. It is that simple. 16 games of a squad that's fully fit with nobody out. No more interruptions. Nothing. 16 to go. I think if we win 10 of them games, it guarantees us Champions League football. That's what we've got to do. We've got to win 10 of the next 16 games. And United are in the Champions League next season. Those are what the statisticians have been saying and what's going to get top 5 this season. 65 points will get you top 5 easily. And that's Champions League. It's there. It's there for the taking. Manchester United now have what we've got 9 games we've won this season. A breath of fresh air now coming through. We've got through some really difficult games when you think about it. We've beaten Liverpool, beaten City, beaten Chelsea. We should have beaten Villa. We should have beaten Arsenal. All of them games there. That's the top 6. That's what Manchester United like. There's no excuse. The players have clearly shown. And if Michael Carrick and his team, and Steve Holland, Johnny Evans, Travis Binion, can get that same intensity out of these players every single week, we're back in the Champions League. If. If is that big word though, isn't it? And I'm bringing myself right back down towards the back end of the show just to send that warning out that this might not be the case. The players are still the same. The ownership's still the same. There's nothing this ownership can do right now except give Michael Carrick a couple of players in the last 2 weeks of this window. Do I think that it's going to happen? No. Do I think we could sneak in a loan deal for someone? Maybe, yeah. Maybe, I think we do. But we'll see what happens with that and that old mystery midfielder conversation. Maybe more information will come out today. There wasn't much to talk about apart from Joshua Zirkzee and Kobbie Mainoo's situation regarding transfers, everyone. So that pretty much is Kobbie Mainoo going nowhere. And now, obviously, with more game time, it's expected that conversations will continue in with Kobbie Mainoo and his representation for a new contract for the young English midfielder. So if he plays now, then and he has a stormer, and he gets game time, bit between his teeth, and he's going to push Thomas Tuchel for that England berth. You never know. We might get an absolute stormer of an end to the season here. Zirkzee's gone. That was made clear yesterday. The feeling is from his camp that Zirkzee's played his last game for United. I don't know what that means, and I don't know if that is him leaving Manchester United. In terms of, obviously, midfield targets, a lot of them are being talked about this summer. I'm trying my best to try and figure out who the mystery midfielder is. We still don't know. And obviously that will come as the reports come out through the next few days. Quickly, just to finish up, Manny with a super chat. 2 or 3 were just offside as the rule stands. The reason they hold the flag down is there's a VAR check on the fly first. And that's the directive. FA up, no VAR, flag up immediately. VAR is garbage. It's poor, mate. Thanks for that super chat, man. Look, I've got a mega busy day. I'm going to have to finish the video up there, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of it. Really do appreciate it. I am going to be back later tonight with the evening show, so make sure that you do join me there as well, where we will be announcing the winners from yesterday's prediction league as well, from that Manchester derby. Wish me luck. I'm going to be off doing the paper round on Adam FC as well in just a moment, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I'll link it in here with the FUTV as well and collaborate it so you don't miss out. But a lot to talk about there, everybody. We're going to set off now. Busy day. I will see you all later on. Have a fantastic Sunday. Enjoy the football. Feet up. No drama, no stress this weekend, United fans. We've done our job and now we can relax. I'll see you all later on, everybody. Have a great Sunday.